Hi guys, this is another video of RCSP. Today we are going to be solving the 4x4 Rubik's Cube. Some of you guys will be asking me why I don't tell you how to solve the 3x3 first. Because some of you guys want me to tell you guys how to solve the 4x4 first. Okay, so now let's get started. But as I said in the 2x2, every Rubik's Cube has its own annotations, and the 4x4, of course, has its own as well. Except the first layers, like the outer layers of the cube, which are the same as the 2x2 annotations. They are the inner layers, which are different. Well, how do you show them? Well, the outer layers, they're the same as I say. The inner layers, they're represented by lowercase letters. Like, for example, there's a lowercase r, then it means that you turn the middle layer of right clockwise once. If it's r prime, lowercase r prime, then it's like that. If it's lowercase letter L, it's like that. If it's lowercase letter L prime, it will be like that. Okay, so every side works like that. If I tell you that I want to rotate both at once, then that will be represented at like R and full case letter R and lowercase letter r. Okay. So now you know the notations of the 4x4 cube. Now we can get started. Let's get it nice and scrambled. Okay, now we have it nice and scrambled. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is that the method I'm going to be teaching you is called a reduction method. That means you basically turn a 4x4 into a 3x3. So you can solve it like a 3x3 later on. But since the 4x4 doesn't have its own centerpieces like a 3x3 does, you have to solve it like no, you have to work on the centers first. So you have to like it's like pair up the pieces and make the centers first before you can do anything else. So now this video is gonna focus on how to make the centers. So stay tuned. Okay, first let's decide on which center we want to make first. Let's do yellow. Okay, this is the starting piece. I see that there's another piece right here. But since if I pair it up like this, that piece will be thrown away like that. So in order to pair it up, I have to rotate it once and rotate it. Then we paired it up successfully. And this is like logic, so there aren't many algorithms that can help you with doing this. There's one thing I need to tell you though. Like in this case where I can tell that I can rotate it up like that, but when I rotate it up, this thing will get separated. So if I want to rotate it up without separating this, I have to rotate it. So when I rotate this up, this doesn't get affected as well. Okay, so now you know that this is logic. We can go ahead and bring this together, and now we finished our first center. Okay, as I see, yellow is always opposite white, so let's do white next. This is white, and this is white, so we pair this up, but again, this has gone from the original center and gone to the side. So when we do this, we rotated this up. So before we can bring this back down to replace the center again, we have to rotate this out of the way so we can rotate this back down. And now we have this center now and a new formed 2x1 center. Okay, so let's keep going. There's one here and one here, so rotate it to pair it up. So here's the first algorithm. When the first center is already completed and you're completing the second center, you have to perform an algorithm so this can go up to here and form the next next center. So what you have to do is you basically have to line these two up on the same layer, on the same inner layer. Okay, so then you do R, like both sides at once, then 2U, R prime. And that takes the center up and forms the first two centers. Okay, now as you can see, we have formed the first two centers. So when after you do this, we're going to form the next centers in the middle line. So put the two centers on left and the right so these doesn't interfere. Okay, so now what you're gonna do is you're going to form all the colors on these lines into 2x1 blocks like these. After you form them into 2x1 blocks, you will have to turn them vertically. So turn them into vertical. So if you line everything else, then you won't mess them up. So I see orange can go with orange here. So now I pair them up and make them vertical. And now I see that green pairs with green and red pairs with red. Makes two of those. I make them vertical. And now I see that blue can be lined up with blue. So I make them vertical again. And green can be lined up with green, so I make them vertical. And finally, in this case, I have to mess up one of these because I can't pair up anymore if I don't mess these up. So, yeah. And as I can see, these are still not going to pair up. Okay, now we can pair these up. No, like that. Now, when I rotate this up, now that can be solved. So, rotate it now. Okay, so now every bit of the center is now formed into 2x1 blocks. It will take some getting used to doing this, but you'll get the hang of it. So now, of course, we get to align the centers, and as you can see, blue is already made for us, so that's great. So now, what you have to be careful before we finish the last two centers is to not mess the centers up, because always one of the centers may get mixed up with the other one, and if they are switched, you can't solve the cube. So to make sure that you will not switch the two centers, you can look at one corner piece, like this one. Line it up with white here, and green here. And it says that this must be orange because this is facing here. The orange here is facing this side. So this side, the center here, must be orange. So, as you can see, the other orange 2x2 block is here. And now, we will use the algorithm I just taught you. Line these two up on the same layer. Line these two up on the same layer. Then now, do R, 2U, R again. And that will make sure that you solve the centers correctly. Okay, so now I'm gonna cut the episode into 3 parts so you can solve the centers and make sure you know how to solve the centers and understand everything. And after this, I'll come back in part 2 uh, to teach you how to do the edge pairing and how to solve the whole cube. And thanks for watching.